I would just like to say that I believe that abortion is a fundamental human right that should not be infringed upon.
Do you believe that children inside the womb have rights? Should
Uh,
have rights?
So before 20 weeks, no, I would not give any fetuses moral consideration because they're not sentient moral agents.
Why you pick 23 weeks or whatever you said?
Because that's when the components for sentience start to come together, and at that point, you can do an abortion that doesn't terminate the fetus.
So that's your opinion, right? That's your opinion on
yeah,
sentient,
I would say that
the establishment of a sentient being.
I
That's
would
your
say
opinion.
that all ethical frameworks are just your opinion. So
Right. So
Yeah.
I say that it starts at conception.
I mean that's
Unobstructed. Think about this. If you want a apple tree to grow, then unobstructed as a seed in the ground, it's going to grow into an apple tree. A human being, all of us, started at conception. Unobstructed, we became humans. Over 1 billion people have done this already. Okay, so what I'm saying, and my argument is, and we may disagree in this, is that life starts at conception. It doesn't start at a person's perception.
Life starts at conception.
Yes.
But sentience, the thing that that's why we give people more consideration, right? Like for example, what is the harm in hacking up a dead body?
I mean, I don't know your question.
I'm at like what is the harm?
Mutilating somebody's dead corpse?
Right, but is the dead
Are you
corpse
harming a dead person? Is that what you're asking?
Right, are you harming the corpse? Like what is the harm
No,
of the corpse?
You're disrespecting the corpse, but you're not.
Right, it's not.
Well, you're harming the corpse, but you're not harming the person who's dead.
Right, because they're not sentient anymore. They're gone. In that same way, a fetus is not sentient.
That's not.
So
but
it's
that's
not bringing in any harm.
That's not the case because the heartbeat, the life is gone. The heartbeat has already started in a.
Not a conception.
Well, I mean, they just
That's
are able.
not
No, they're
conception.
able to measure it at about 6 weeks.
Right,
That
but
does
you
not
said
mean
at
that the heart
conception.
development hasn't started. They just are able to measure it at 6 weeks. So if you want to start at 6 weeks, you want to start at 6 weeks because once the heart has begun to beat, we can all agree that that is life form. And when the heart stops is when you die. So can we start there?
I would take two issues with that.
Okay.
The first one is that you said not at 6 weeks, but at conception.
Yeah,
Moreover,
I definitely believe conception.
Moreover, biological processes and functions are not sentience. So that's the core of the issue.
Yeah, the sentient argument that you have, I understand, but I don't agree.
Right. Well, I mean that's fine. That
I think
you don't
we should
agree, but
value them
that's
before your articulation of a sentient establishment. I think that good with your opinion. I hear your opinion. I disagree. It should start at the foundation of when the child was created. The child was created at conception, unobstructed. The child will come to life. Let me just say this: if a woman wants a child, what value does a child have?
I think that a child can have a lot of value. I mean, some people want to start families,
Right,
companionship.
so only if you
they're-
want it, it has value. Is that the argument?
No, that's not the argument.
So if a person, let's say if a woman is headed to an abortion clinic and she's about, 8 weeks pregnant.
Yep.
She's going through an intersection, a drunk driver comes and hits her. Baby dies, she lives. What should happen to that drunk driver as related to that child?
As related to the child,
Yeah, should he get charged for the death of that child?
it depends on how far along in the pregnancy was. Like I said, if the fetus is sentient, then I would say maybe we could add something extra onto that. I think we're getting kind of off topic because we're talking
No,
about
I don't know if we get off
abortion.
topic. We're talking about value of the life of the baby.
Okay, so
So if a person, just say if a woman was pregnant and a daddy didn't want the baby and he got mad and punched her in the stomach before your sentient establishment, should he be charged with killing that baby?
he should be charged. No, he should be charged with
only assault.
Yeah.
Not killing the baby.
No,
Okay.
because so you believe that because I just want to make sure I have you here right, that we're talking about the value of a human life, and I'm saying because you said I don't agree, but what I'm saying is that the value of a human life comes from sentience. The value of
according to what you believe.
I mean, I would say that there's a precedent for this. I mean, you even yourself said there's no harm to chopping up a dead body.
Because the body is dead.
Right.
When you're
not
conception
sentient.
is alive.
Right, but it's not sentient. That's the reason that it's
Sentient or not is not the question. It's dead or alive, right? A person is dead. That's why you don't dismember. That's why dismembering the body is wrong.
No,
but it doesn't hurt the person that was in the body.
So the
'cause
way
it's dead.
so the way
But
that we
baby at
normally decide
conception
what is
alive.
right and wrong is how harmful it is.
No, that's
right?
not true.
So then,
What if a
okay,
person
wait, I
is-
would ask you then.
what if a person
why
is-
murder wrong?
Because you're killing somebody who's alive.
Okay, but why is that wrong though?
Because you're murdering somebody. That's murder.
So what you're
You're
doing, you're
taking their
making a
life away.
circular argument though. Why is murder wrong? It can't be
Well,
wrong because it's wrong.
Well, the way I believe it's wrong is because God said it was wrong.
So you believe God is the ultimate arbiter of what
100%.
morality is? Okay. So
that's where most
then
people get their moral argument from. They just don't want to admit it.
So I would say then that I do not. You're going to run into a lot of problems using God as the final arbiter of what morality is, and that's
But
from
there's
a
a biological argument there. The biological argument.
Well, no, but you think that God is what determines what's right or wrong, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so what I'm telling you
if
is
you
that
want to have a
that's-
non-God
that's-
argument, I still have an argument at conception. There's an argument at conception is when life starts.
What I'm saying is that because fetuses are not sentient, there is nothing wrong because you're not doing any harm by performing an abortion.
So you admit that you're destroying the life of a person, but it's not wrong.
No, they don't have a life. They're not sentient.
But they do have a life.
They have a biological function. Of,
Right. I think, but see, the difference between you and I is that I think that you had the same value now as you did at conception. Because unobstructed, you were here. So you were this person.
So do you think
your DNA was you way back then?
And like I said before, like, you know, dead bodies still have human DNA, right?
Right, but
So-
we're making
and-
you can't, the thing is that you're not manipulating the body of a fetus, but the body still lives. We're talking about killing, we're talking about taking a life.
So
it's not like a woman has, like if a woman has a miscarriage, the baby is dead, right? And they have to dismember the body. That's not the same of killing the baby.
So
the baby was alive and it died.
So and I think I understand what you're like. So because you keep saying unobstructed. So if I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is the idea that because fetuses can become humans, that's why you value them even if they're not humans?
Yeah, they are from the very foundation of conception. They are humans.
So
they just need to grow.
So because they will
time to grow.
So because they'll grow, that's why it's wrong to kill them.
No, because that's the foundation of human life is at conception. Do we disagree?
Yes, we do.
The foundation of where do people start from? They don't start in the sentient unless you believe that a spirit comes down into a body in the womb.
No, I'm saying like to be sentient is to like have.
Okay, at what point can you kill? The point is that if you let the baby grow from conception, it's going to grow and be a person, right? If you obstruct at any point, you take the life of that and you dismantle the process, whether it's sentient or not. So the process from the foundation to the finish line is what it is. If you planted a whole bunch of orange trees right here, and you planted them in the ground, and I went and dug them up, I've now destroyed all these trees.
So would you let a 5-year-old drink like alcohol?
No.
Why? Eventually they will be 21 unobstructed if you let them go. So you should let them drink, right?
No, because the alcohol affects and metabolizes in the body very differently at age to age.
Right, but
so I don't want to kill them because their body's not capable of withstanding that. Just like I wouldn't give a baby a vaccination in the womb.
So the point is that you believe that because a fetus will become a human, it is wrong to kill them.
I think it's a human at conception.
Right, no, you believe
like when does an apple tree become an apple tree?
An apple tree becomes when it becomes a tree, when it sprouts out of the ground.
No, but it's already an apple tree in the seed. It just needs to grow.
No, it's a seed.
Yeah, but it's the apple tree is in the
tree.
seed. The apple tree is in the seed.
But it's not it's a seed.
The apple tree is in the seed. When you go to plant an apple tree, when you plant an apple tree, what do?
You put a seed in the ground.
You put a seed in the ground with the expectation of what?
That it'll grow into a tree.
Unobstructed, it's going to be a tree.
Right, but
that's the way it's made.
But a seed isn't a tree.
If I have, just say I made money.
Do you think an apple seed is an apple tree?
Just say I made money on apple seeds. I made money on apple trees. Just say I made money, and I gave you 50 seeds in your hand. Do you believe that you're going to make money?
Probably.
Do you believe that you have money in your hand? Or do you believe this is nothing? It didn't have no value.
I think it's seeds that have
No, when you plant a garden, when you do anything else where you're planting, you're looking at money. You're looking at growth. Unobstructed, this will turn into what you want it to be. It has it from the foundation of the seed. The trees are in the seeds. They just need time to grow.
Wow, this is incredible. But I feel like I want more opinions on this, because do you really agree on this sentence or do you agree on value? Because I feel like the other guy's debate is basically on sentience. Like, you feel like so far as this thing has not gotten to a certain stage, it does not need to be cherished or it does not need to be valued. I feel like that's how he see life, So far as mango seed is just a seed, it doesn't have value until it starts having its value, or it starts gaining its value until it is a tree, or until it starts maturing its fruits. You understand? That's how I see his point, or I'm trying to get his point. But is that how we need to view life? Because it's not even about abortion or conception, or you know it, but in general life, is that how you to see life? Do you have to value something until the thing has become okay? So do you have to value only the president, or you need to value only the billionaires? You don't have to, you don't have to even cherish the small beginnings. So far as I'm having, okay, I'm beginning to have investment, I place maybe $50 down ground. So far as that $50 has not matured to, let's say, $1 million, I don't value it. I feel like that's where he's coming from. Maybe I'm not getting him right, but I feel like that's where he's coming from, because he don't value even a baby, like a 6 weeks baby, a 10 weeks baby, 12 weeks baby, even 19 weeks baby, until the baby starts to reach 20. So what is the difference between 20 weeks and 6 weeks? I feel like they all have life in them. That's that at that age, at that stage of the conception, there is a breathing life in them. There is a pause. There is a breath of life, So I feel like it's the same thing. You need to value that six weeks baby the same way you are valuing that 20 weeks baby. So what's the difference? So if a drunk truck driver hits a pregnant woman and he kills the baby in the womb, and the mom and the mother survive, we don't have to charge the drunk driver or the truck driver of murder just because the baby is 10 weeks, because it has not gotten to sentience where you want the baby to get to. So we don't have to charge him of murder. But if it's 20 weeks, by 30 weeks, we can charge the driver of murder, because at least it has gotten to whatever you want the baby to get to. Does it even make sense? Because I feel like you are devaluing some people. Okay, so now, because maybe I'm disabled, I'm blind, so I'm not reaching the height that you want me to reach. So with my circumstance, you are devaluing me, but you are valuing an able person. That's what he's trying to mean. Because if we base on life with this sentience and whatever things he's talking about, I don't think we will make life a better place for people. No, because we will begin to cherish people, or we begin to cherish other things more than other things. Because this apple seed is still a seed, or because it's now maturing, we don't regard it, or we don't value it until it is a tree with fruits maturing on top, or with leaves, with a tree with leaves. So far as it's a seed, it's just a seed. Probability of it getting, no. If we view life that way, we will not get anywhere. We will not even get to invest, or we will not even get to mature, or we will not even get to be rich. Because if that is the same way those big men, Elon Musk and those people, Bill Gates, saw life like, okay, this is a small beginning, or okay, this is a small startup, this is $50. So until this $50 becomes 1 million, I'm not cherishing it, or I'm not valuing it. I'm not valuing it because the probability of this $50 crashing down is high. It has not gotten to the stage that I want it to get, so I will not value it. If that's how we see life, then I think we will not go anywhere in life. Because if you begin to have this mindset towards pregnancy, or this mindset towards abortion or contraception, so far as the 6 weeks has life, 20 weeks has life. So if you believe 20 weeks has life and we need to protect 20 weeks, why don't you believe we need to protect that 6 weeks or 10 weeks? Do you get me? So I feel like if you have this mentality towards life, you will not make it in life. Let's put conception aside and let's talk about life itself. If you can't even cherish the small one you have, how can you even protect the bigger one. I mean, how can that? Because it's the small ones that yield to become bigger. It's the small money that's, I mean, increase. If you invest, if you start working on those small money, those ones are the ones that yield to become bigger in the future. That 6 weeks matured to become you, me. Because me and you, we were all in that stage. We all started from somewhere. We were all, I mean, we all started from 6 weeks, 20 weeks, 30 weeks, 40 weeks, and now we are here. So if you try and cut off the process because, it's 6 weeks, it's okay for me to abort it because it's 6 weeks, it has no value, it has not gotten to 20 weeks, then you are cutting off me and you. Do you get me? You can have your own argument that, okay, rape, this, that, but if you have this kind of, I never knew people actually have this kind of thoughts in their mind, honestly, because when it comes to abortion issue, people actually argue that, since the child is in the womb, it is not human, it's not living, it does not have that capability old newborn baby has. People actually argue on things that, okay, this thing, that we can work with it. But you telling me, if the baby is not from 20 weeks going, that thing can be, protected because it's now having sentience. But if it's 6 weeks, if 10 weeks, it doesn't have sentience, and you are comparing baby or a fetus to a dead body, it doesn't make sense to me. For me, I don't get your point here. Honestly, to be fair, I don't get your point. I mean, that's your thought and your belief, and I respect that. But honestly, I don't get it. I don't get his point at all. So guys, let me know what you think about this video. If you also agree on this sentence, or if you think we should value anything that we have in life, let me know your points and your thoughts on this. And if you want to see more videos like this, so don't forget to click on the subscription button for more notifications. Thanks for watching.